So I'm doing a brew. It's the first video I've done for ages, this, but I'll see if I put it up. I haven't decided yet. So I'm just at the point of, I wasn't going to do much of an intro or anything, but I'm just at the point of mashing in. So I've got the malts for a kind of Czech Pilsner in the mash tun, and I'm just kind of preheating my water. So I've got 35 litres in here of this, which is Tesco's finest Ashbeck mineral water, and because I'm doing a sort of Czech style beer, I didn't want to use the tap water because it's got too many minerals in, but what I've added in there is some calcium just to kind of boost that up, because it's very minimal calcium levels. So I needed to add a little bit more. Excuse the lid banging. You should be able to see the water in there, and it's at about so I'm doing a step mash with a protein rest at the beginning of 52, I think. I'll check that in a minute. Ooh, my thermometer's almost dripping in the water there. Just get that out. So yeah, so I've added a little bit of calcium just to boost that, and then I'm sort of preheating the equipment a little bit, because I use a recirculation pump, so I'm sort of heating the pump and getting the circulation vessel up to the right temperature as well, so I don't lose heat at the beginning of the mash. So I'll transfer the water in now. I'm going to transfer in half, roughly. Probably about 20 litres or so, and then use the rest for sparge, and hopefully, if I've got my numbers right, I'll hit 52. I might need to warm it up a little bit, but yeah, so we'll see how we go. So I've got my water up to about 58 now, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to transfer over in a minute and get the mash at around 52 for the protein rest, because it has to heat this quite substantial stainless steel container, but at least the pump and the HERMS unit are all preheated. So yeah, I'm going to lose a bit of heat, and obviously the grains as well are about 20 degrees, a bit less maybe. So they're going to suck some heat out of that water as well. So this will be a good test of roughly how much over the target I need to be to make sure it doesn't come in under. If it does go in a little bit over, then I could add a bit of cold out of one of the spare mineral waters, but I'd quite like to avoid that if possible. So yeah, let's give it a try. So I'm transferring in now quite slowly, so I'm underletting, so it's going from this through the pump that's been preheated and then into the mash tun. Doing it slowly, and I'm transferring in 15 initially, so that's pretty much what I planned to transfer in, so hopefully the temperature will be about right. So started off with 35 in the tank, so we'll go down to 20. It's some of the way there. Might need to transfer a little bit more than I planned in, because obviously we need the mash to cover the temperature sensor, but it looks like it will actually, because we've still got a little bit to go, and it's coming up. This is my brewing, sorry about the flicker, but this is my brewing control system that I wrote, so this is part of the fun really of doing this. So hopefully once that liquid contacts the thermal probe, we'll be somewhere around 52 once it settles down, and we can give it a good stir. So we're approaching 20 now, so I'll just let it go a little bit further, then I'll shut that valve off and give it a stir and see where we are. So I've just given it a good stir, there's no dough balls in there. and I put my recirculation manifold in. Temperature wise, well, I don't know if you'll be able to see from the flicker, but we're just slightly over at 53.6. But to be honest, that's close enough. This is something of an experimental brew to test this software. So I suspect once I start recirculating, it might drop a little bit as well. So I'm happy with that. So I'll get the lid on, get the recirculation going nice and slowly, and then this step is 15 minutes. So we're off. The recirculation going. That valve's all the way open, and then this one is being used to kind of control the flow. So slow at this point. As predicted, the temperature stabilised and we're bang on 52. Hopefully it won't climb too much again with the recirculation. And we're, well, some distance into the first step of 15 minutes. So it's 52.6, so that's fine. So yeah, hopefully that'll all stabilise quite nicely and remain pretty close to target. What I might have done is slightly heat the HERMS too much, and I don't have a cooling loop yet, but what I'll do is I'll just slow down the recirculation to prevent the mash temp rising too much. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that really. So yeah, just have to sort of wait for the next step. That'll be the real test of getting it to kind of raise the temperature of the mash in a reasonable amount of time for the next step. But yeah, happy with the way things are going. I've got some cleaning to do now. So I've got about 2 minutes left of the protein rest, and done pretty well I think for a first test. So I think you can probably make out that we were hovered about a degree or so over target of 52, and we're now within 0.7. And what's quite useful is that I can see here that the delta between the HERMS unit and the outflow temp is about 2-ish degrees. So that's useful intel. So I can sort of, next time I'll know that if I preheat the HERMS unit and the pump and things, I only need to be about 2 degrees above my mash temp on the preheat, rather than what I put in, which was more like 5. So that's good. So any minute now Siri will tell me that it's time to go to the next step. I can't off the top of my head remember what that is, but it's for 35 minutes. It's something in the region of 60. So I'm quite pleased. Job I'm currently doing is sorting out my pressure fermenter. I'm not actually going to use this because this is a 50 litre pressure fermenter, so I won't be using it for this brew. I'm just emptying the glycol out of it, which I've never done before because I've only used this once. So it was a bit interesting. This is a Brewbilt X3, which is pretty cool, but there's a lot of things to seal up, and I did have a minor leak on the pressure, only very minor, so I'll have to watch out for that in the future. But I was really pleased with how it worked, and the beer it made is excellent, so that's good, but it's dirty inside and needs a clean. But I'll be using my old conical not pressured fermenter for this brew, because I'm going to lager it for ages, so it can just sit in there for as long as it needs. Okay, get ready to do the next step. Okay, so very quickly, the next step is 63 degrees, 35 minutes, and I am hoping to reach that temp within 15 minutes or something. So the heating element is now back on in the HERMS unit, and the temperature in the HERMS unit is slowly climbing, and with a bit of luck my PID algorithm will stop the massive overshoot, but that's what I'm mostly worried about actually, is that there'll be a huge overshoot. But we're going to see how it does, and we're not going to interfere with it too much, maybe a little bit. Recirculation, I've speeded it up just a little bit, but I'm still keeping it nice and slow. Don't want to get a stuck mash. but obviously I want it to go up a little bit quicker, so I need a little bit of pump through, so we'll see how we go. So it's taken a fair bit longer to get to the right temperature than I hoped, more like half an hour than 15 minutes, so I think it needs to be a little bit more aggressive on when it sort of sits before turning the element back on again, but we've been within half a degree for a while, and you can see on the line we've been quite close, so I started the timer anyway, close enough, so this step is 35 minutes and we're some distance into that, and then the next one I think is 72, but we've got some good intel and it's not been a disaster, it's been pretty close, so I think we'll be alright. Flow's quite slow, that's deliberate. A faster flow actually means that you transfer less heat from the HERMS to the wort because it doesn't spend as long going through the coil. So slow is good, but also, like I said before, I don't want to stuck mash by blocking up the screen. So yeah, we'll just keep it as it is, and then hopefully soon we'll be able to move on to the next step. So we've got about 12 minutes left or something. Doing really well. Just hovering right around target temperature. Just needs to be a little bit more aggressive at getting itself up to temperature. And actually the delta between the HERMS and the outflow gets bigger as the temperature increases. So now it's like 5 degrees, where before it was maybe like 2.5, 3. But that's fine, so we're learning. So yeah, we just need to make it a little bit more aggressive at heating up. And I think it's that error to pull down the duty cycle a little bit, or increase the duty cycle rather. So yeah, just hold steady and we'll see how we get up to the next step in 10 minutes or so. And I'm just about to start cleaning the fermenter. This is a fermenter that I will be using. It's an SS Brewtech 7 gallon conical, so that's perfect for this. And this is my homemade glycol chiller that needs a little bit of adjustment, but works pretty well. So yeah, just get these set up and get that. The fermenter's cleaned inside, but it needs sanitizing, so I shall do that shortly. So the noise you can hear is the clean in place thing running in my fermenter, but this is doing reasonably well. I've got to 69 now. I haven't been timing how long it's taken, but it's not been too bad. Should hit 70 more or less any second now by the looks of it. So again, you can see from the graph, just due to be a little bit more aggressive on the heat up, but we're not getting massive overshoots, that's pretty good. Still going. That's the computer there actually that's running it. The way it's currently configured, or maybe I'll talk about this later because of the noise. This is what's causing the noise. Cleaning running inside, just pumps out the bottom through the pump and back in a cleaning place thing on the top, so that's pretty effective. And I'll just leave that running for quite a while. So it's been doing pretty well. You can see wobbled a little bit below for a while there, but I think again just adjusting the parameters slightly will sort that out. And we're pretty close to done on this step now, which was half an hour. It's currently just slightly under at 7168, but that's not a problem. So we've also finished sanitizing the fermenter. Just left the CIP running while I walk the dog, so that was been going for almost half an hour as well, so that'll be nice and clean and sanitised. Just need to get rid of the sanitizer, and then we'll be ready for starting the transfer for boiling and things. Well, we do a mash out, so there'll be a mash out on this. I think it's 76. I'll try and remember. Most of the brews I do won't need step match, but this was really to test the controller. Oh yeah, so the controller. It's a Raspberry Pi. You can see there's various cables there for the temperature sensors. Wasn't sure where I was going to put them, so the cables are way longer than they needed to be, so I just bunched them up. The relays are attached directly to the Raspberry Pi, which is maybe not the best idea really, but they're rated for 9 amps, and it seems to work fine. I've been using it for quite some time now. Probably will switch to solid state in a separate box at some point, but for now this seems reasonably good. And there's only really ever one on, because it's only really to control the HERMS unit. Everything else is just manual. So there's the HERMS unit. So yeah, I'll get a bit of tidying up done, and then we'll get ready for transferring and sparging. So we're getting close on the mash out. 75, 76 is what I'm after, and then about 10 minutes at 76 once it gets there. This is still doing its thing, recirculation. My fermenter might need a rinse. This is my homemade glycol chiller that is a bit Wallace and Gromit, if I'm honest, but it works. And I've just been replacing what were brass barbant connectors with these plastic John Guest ones, just because I think they'll be better, and I don't really like mixing metals and things. So in here are 2 pumps. You might be able to see them. There's a load of glycol in there. There's 2 pumps, so it can chill 2 things at once. It could do more, because I think it's something like 9,000 BTUs. And then there's another pump which is here that circulates the glycol across this, which is the it's the chilling part of an old air conditioner. People often bend these into new positions. I didn't want to bend it because you can really easily crack them. So I just left it. It was like an upright unit, so I just left it as it was. So there's a sort of recirculation of glycol over this, back into there, and it's controlled by a temperature probe there and an Inkbird thing there. And if I plug it in, actually, it should activate, because I think it's set to 11 it's set to half a degree or something. So actually what I'll do is I'll properly reassemble it, and then I'll plug it in and show it to you. That's probably better. Yeah, so back in a second. Okay, so here we go. So this is now reattached. This is like an insulated tank basically, and this is what other than replacing these, replacing the original brass ones with these John Guests, the other job that I needed to do was sort of fit this reverse gutter, and that was because I was getting a bit of spray. So there's like a you can't see it now, but there's a plastic, this is an interconnect from a pump, and there's a plastic pipe there that I drilled holes in, so it sort of goes down like a waterfall. It'll make sense in a minute. And yeah, I was getting a bit of spray off the top, which was then going on the lid. I can show you the lid. So here's the lid, and you can see it was spraying in there and then going slightly mouldy by the looks of it, which is less than ideal. So yeah, fitted this upside down gutter, and if I turn it on, it's quite loud. There we go. So now you can see, yeah, the gutter is just about doing its thing. Keeping the spray down in a downward direction, which is where it needed to go. So yeah, that works okay. Like I said, it's a little bit Wallace from it. Probably can't hear what I'm saying. I'll move quite close to the the camera. So yeah, you can see it now. It sort of comes down like a waterfall through the chilling coils, and that chills the glycol in the unit, and it's currently at 14 point something. It'll be down to half a degree pretty quickly, and I'll just let that go down. This lager is going to be fermented rather at 10 degrees, so it'll be connected to this more or less all the time. So this one of these pumps is actually the SS Brewtech pump, so it'll pump through back round. So it's pretty simple really. Yeah, repurposed air conditioning unit. Dead straightforward. A lot cheaper than the commercial ones, and I reckon it could do way more than 2 fermenters. It could probably do at least 4 probably. It's quite a lot of cooling capacity. You can cold crash things really quickly with this. Right, anyway, I'll turn this off now because maybe you didn't hear a word of that because of the fan. So we're finished. Finished the mash. So we've been at 76 for long enough. Probably a little bit longer than 10 minutes to be honest. I've been faffing about. So we'll start fly sparging. I'll just check what my sparge water is at, and it's gonna need turning on for a bit. I had a minor spillage of sanitizer. I just need to rinse that through a bit with some diluted sanitizer because it's a bit foamy in there. So this is down to minus 0.3, and put the lid on, and I need to mark which ones of these is which pump. That would be a bit of an interesting fail. So what I'll do is I'll connect one up and then I'll loop one through, so I don't spray glycol all over the place. I think this is the SS Brewtech pump. So yeah, ready to fly sparge, and this is pretty clean in there. That is I need a bit more cleaning around the heating element. That's actually a Brew Tools heating element that fits in here. Low wattage. So that's a tip for you if you're looking for one. Don't know if it fits in the smaller one. Maybe not by the looks of it. Okay, let's do some sparging. Okay, so this is off now. It's still running the temperature probes obviously, but it's not doing anything. But it's useful to see the temperature during sparge. This is the wort. It's a nice colour. I think it looks a little bit redder on the camera. It's more of an ambery kind of colour. That's a bit out of the hose that I'll put in the boiler in a minute. So the sparge setup, you can fly sparge with this kit. So I've got 2 pumps. So it goes from there through pump number 1, which is on the left, and then from pump number 1 into here. And actually, because of gravity, when I open the valve, do that now, open that one. Let's check this empty. Yes, it is. Always good to check. Oh, and also that the screen is attached, which it is. And then if I open this now, it'll start slowly going through just by gravity. Off it goes. I'll be able to see it trickling through. Well, maybe it's a bit dark. Yeah, you can just see it emerging slowly. So I'll turn the pump on in a minute obviously. And then this water is at 76, or it should be. Yeah, pretty much. And that will sparge in. And that goes through the recirculator. So it goes through there, through pump 2, through the HERMS unit, and then back over the top. And that means that all of the nice wort gets pushed out of the HERMS unit. And we'll leave a little bit of water in there. I can't remember how much I'm sparging. I think it's 15 litres. So I've got 20 in there, so I'll easily get 15. And my original pre-boil gravity target is 5.5, I think. So 1055. So we'll check that as well. And I'll obviously check that before we finish the sparge. If we're a bit over, no great problem there. Okay, let's get the pump switched on. Pump 1. There we go. A bit quicker. Slow it down a bit actually. Don't want this to go super fast. So have a look. And that's coming through now. I'll get the fly sparge going. So reopen valve at the top. I can do it one-handed. I can. Open this one. Hopefully the pump will prime itself, which it has. Switch on pump 2, but really slow, because we don't want it to overflow. So there we go. It's just about going. These pumps can be a real pain to prime, but that seems to be going alright. You can see actually, the hose is clearing up. So I might speed this much. I'll just slow that one down. We don't have any accidents. Because obviously I don't want to pump it quicker than it's coming out, because it will all come out of the mash tun. Okay, so I need to get my gravity tester. So I just check the gravity with my gravity testing wand. These things are reasonably accurate, but not amazing. So straight out of the mash tun, we're at 185, so that's obviously a lot higher than the 055. So 1085 rather. So we will be needing a bit of sparge. So sparge is running very slowly. Might speed that up in a minute, just to make sure it is actually moving. Right, the dog's barking. So I've stopped the sparge, and I think we're actually pretty much out. But we've got the right amount, somewhere between 20 and 25. That should fill the fermenter. I'll knock this pump off now. And when I tested it just a moment ago, it was exactly 1055, so we nailed it. That's pretty good. I'll do another test. It's starting to heat up in there as well. I've got one of the elements on. What, 80 some, well, maybe a bit below. I'll do another test just to check, and looks like we nailed it this time. So here's the inside of the mash tun. You can see the recirculation manifold, which just comes out. That hose goes through the lid, as you saw. It's really good. The manifold was dead expensive, and I was about, is it really worth it? But it is, I think. It does seem to work very well. So that's good. One thing I'm annoyed about, because I forgot to do it, was to take the pH of the mash. And I'd set my pH meter up and everything. But never mind, I'll try and remember to do that next time. Dog's barking again. So yeah. Looking good. So we're boiling. Bit steamy. It's got one element on for the boil. First hops have gone in. I was going to do a 90-minute boil, but I don't think I need to, and to be honest, it's getting kind of late. So 60 minutes it is. Will I regret that? Probably not. So yeah, you can kind of see the colour actually there, while it's boiling around the element. So that's going nicely. Nearly got the mash tun dug out. Well, I've dug it out, but obviously there's always a bit that you can't quite get, so that'll be going on the compost heap. So I'll do that, and then 30 minutes into the boilers and the next hops. Oh yeah, the hops. Bit of a wild card. Ages ago I bought a packet of Mount Hood in Norway actually, and I wasn't really sure what to do with them, but they're not a bad substitute for your normal hops that you might put in a Pilsner, so Mount Hood it is, and we'll see what it's like. I reckon it'll be good, but maybe a little bit different. Not very traditional. The rest of the recipe is super traditional, but that's what we like to do, kind of mix things up a bit. So I'll keep cleaning up. second hop dose in about 10 minutes. Mash tun's clean. The manifold and the screen need a bit more of a scrub. Boiler's boiling, so I'm just going to keep an eye on the volume because we do need it to go down a bit to obviously hit our gravity, which is, what is our gravity? I've got it in Beer Smith. Post boil 063. I might take a reading at the half-hour mark, see where we're at. I can always whack on the second element if I need to drop it a bit. This is ready to go, rinsed. Got the foam out. Overdid it with the sanitizer, but I've rinsed it through. So yeah, pretty much looking good. Boiling's going well, just did another test. We just hit the second hop addition. So 30 minutes into the boil, gonna do it for an hour, like I said. Should be right. And we're about 158-ish, perhaps approaching 159. So I reckon by the time we hit 30 minutes, we should be somewhere around the another 30 minutes, that is, we should be somewhere around the 63 mark. I'm just going to do a fun little test. I haven't done it yet. This is the previous spillage of sanitizer. So I bought one of these things after I saw the For Priest guy. Great channel, by the way. I thought, oh, that looks kind of cool. Maybe I'll get one of those. And then he's had nothing but trouble with it. So, but anyway, I bought one before I got to that part of his videos. But I thought I'd do a little test because the manual's kind of hilarious because it sort of says, check the calibration of the flow sensor with the manufacturer to see if it's delivering the right amount of water. And I was like, well, A, isn't that you? And B, if it's not, how the hell am I supposed to find the manufacturer? So what I've done is I've set it to dispense 5 litres and I have a 5 litre container. So let's see what happens. And the dog's barking. 2 seconds. Okay, so the dog is no longer barking, which is good. So let's try it. Let's see if this thing works. There we go. Some water is coming out. That's not going to work. So it's just going at something like 1.6 litres per minute, and the total it's done so far is about 1 litre. It doesn't look far off, actually. Getting a bit dark in here for the camera. Let's see how this goes. There might be a way that I could calibrate it actually. If it's a bit off, I could adjust it a bit and see if it fills it. Should have turned the tap on more. So it thinks it's done almost 2 litres. Yeah, it's looking promising. So that looks about a bit more than halfway, doesn't it? So I think it might be slightly going to overdo it. So I might have to dial it back a bit. Could be wrong. I do wonder how accurate it is though, like if I turn the tap on more, would it be anything like the same? Who knows? Just going to knock that second element off briefly. Ooh. It's going to be pretty close actually. Yeah, it's going to overfill. Because it thinks it's got 1 litre left to go, and I think it's probably got about 1/3 of a litre left to go. So get ready to stop. Yeah, So it's half a litre out. It's not too bad actually. Might be going a little bit still. Probably just residual. Okay. Interesting. Might have to try and calibrate it. This is today's yeast. Never used this yeast. It's supposed to be quite a beast. I didn't make a starter because most people think that for 20 litres ish you don't actually need one. So looking at this, should be alright. And somewhere between 11 and 14 degrees. So I decided to go for 12. Battery on this camera's getting low, I just noticed. So I'll sign off now. Yeah. So I'll get this yeast pitched. We've got about 5 minutes left to go. Fermenter's ready to go. I might record some bubbles coming out of that maybe tomorrow. This is set. That little loop is just in case I've got the wrong pump picked, so I don't spray glycol everywhere. Pretty sure I'm right. So yeah, we should be good to go. So yeah, it's been a successful brew day. Oh yeah, final grav. Maybe if I've got enough battery I'll record a final gravity. Could do it with my phone or something. But yeah, it looks like we're pretty much nailed it this time. Original grav, not final grav. So we were going for 0.63, so hopefully we're somewhere in there. Looking at the level, we should be about right on the money. So very quickly, I've got my whirlpool going. So I'm going through the plate chiller. Do that while it's boiling, so it sanitizes it. Obviously, I cleaned it first. And it's always worth running a bit through, just so you make sure you haven't got any sanitizer in that chiller. You don't want that in your beer. So that's it. Running through there. Obviously, normally this is fuller. Round and round it goes. It would be kind of fun if it was pointing at the hops. Maybe I'll try and do that. Yeah, so that's going around nicely, doing its thing. So there it is in the fermenter. I pitched the yeast and it is going slow and steady. It's been pitched at, well, I got the temperature set at 11. That's pretty cold, so I wasn't expecting it to zoom off, but it's going. I don't know if you can see in there, it's maybe a bit tricky. No, you'll have to trust me. So yeah, that seems pretty good. Had a slight leak when I was transferring out of a hose, so I lost a bit onto the floor, which is a bit of a shame, but it wasn't a disaster. But most of it got in there, so I've got about, I don't know, somewhere around probably 17 litres ish, roughly. It was a good job that I put a loop over these, because I originally thought this was the pump that the Brewtech pump was this was the outlet, sorry, that the Brewtech pump was connected to, but it wasn't, so that would have been fun. So yeah, a disaster averted there. It would have just been a fountain of glycol going all over the place. This is set at -0.5 degrees, so it's currently at -0.1. So it holds the temperature pretty easily. It's dropped a bit colder now, but I think it probably will mostly be cooling rather than heating. So yeah, happy with that. Hopefully it'll taste good. Be sat there for quite a long time. So I'll obviously, well, if I do put this on the internet, I will put another one up when it's ready to drink. Probably in 6 to 8 weeks, I guess. Okay, other than that, I'll maybe see you in the next video.